can we tell that I have a new favorite place to film with you guys? But welcome to this week's vlog. I'm actually starting it on Thursday night. We are a few hours away from hurricane time, and if you guys don't know, there's a Category 4 hurricane that is about to make landfall in Florida. Thankfully, we are outside of the cone of like major destruction, but it's meant that the last 48 hours have been a little bit chaotic. But I wanted to talk about a few things specifically that came in today or that I'm wearing right now, because I know that like I'm gonna throw them in the wash and it won't be at the front of my mind when we get into the rest of the vlog this week. But welcome back for another vlog. I told you guys in the last vlog I was going to get the boot shapers, and they came in yesterday. Now I will say I got like a multi-set to see how they would work, and if you saw the last vlog, there's the whole like center section of boots. These are too tall, and all the other ones that I found like in this multi kind of set, they're still a little bit too tall. Like they kind of need to almost be hugging inside and really hidden in the boot. So I have another set in my Amazon cart. I'll probably place an order for those tomorrow. But honestly, this like immediately shaped this up and made it so much nicer to look at. Like it's not flopping over. I was having a really hard time keeping them in this space, and now they're just nice and situated. So it's great. And there's plenty of sizes. It's just if you've got like less height space over it, hopefully the other ones will work, and I can link those down below. What I grabbed you for and what I wanted to show you, and we talked about it in the last vlog, is Honeylove. This is not sponsored. I do have a discount code, but because I've been watching so much hurricane coverage, I've seen a lot more of the like traditional TV ads that I never really catch, because if I'm watching like YouTube or any other streaming service, you just don't see those kinds of things. And I've been wearing, and there will probably be, turn the little light off, there will be a review on some Victoria's Secret bras within short over the next few days, because my like holy grail for bras at the moment is this one from Honeylove. And I bought this little Skims dupe set off of Amazon because I really wanted you to be able to see the lines, the tightness, any of the things that I feel like are really common problems whenever you have a bra. And this one is just so nice. It is so incredibly comfortable. I will say it's not exactly the most subtle if you're looking for something that's going to hide really easily, because it does come up to right here, so you've got coverage. I went down in what I thought I was going to be sized based on the website, so I'm wearing a large, but I tend to be smaller on the top than I am on the bottom, so kind of standard for me, but it's just so incredibly comfortable. The straps adjust really well. But the one thing I saw in the commercial earlier today was talking about how it kind of, with the shapewear side, how it smooths anything out. And I feel like I noticed that the most just right here, because everything fits so well, and because it's a little bit more flexible in sizing, and it's not like a 36 or a 38. Like there's more stretch in it. There's more little notches in it. I think there's like 4. Everything is really smooth, and I don't have any of the weird kind of gapping on the side, and it all just fits really kind of seamlessly under something that is actually very form-fitting. Like this isn't overly tight. It fits exactly like it's supposed to. I don't feel like it's rolling up or doing anything crazy, but everything just looks so good and is so comfortable underneath. So I really like these shirts. I got them in a 3-pack. I think it's white, it's black, and then there's like the gray one that's a little bit lighter than this, maybe like a nude one. But the bras itself are just so incredibly comfortable, and I feel like we always really struggle with that. So I wanted to mention that for you, because I know that I'm not going to have this shirt for the next couple of days once I throw it in the pile for washing. Before I forget, because somebody's asked about it, but this mirror right here, if you guys have seen the other mirror that I have in the room that's still in the room because I haven't found a different home for it, but I actually unplugged it. Part of the reason I got a new mirror is that I added the lights to that myself. It's a mirror from Kirkland's. It is 7 or 8 feet tall. It's quite tall, and I don't have a car that would fit in to leave at the moment, but this one, the lights were getting glitchy on that. I wanted this kind of setup over here. One thing about it being that the lighting is a little bit easier to deal with, because I can kind of control everything. I can light it from different angles. It works better with having the dogs, because sometimes I want to get the outfit shot, but I want to leave, and Asher's laying in the middle of the floor. But this mirror right here has 3 different lights. But the other thing I find that I really love and don't like about it, and I love it, it's just not always convenient, is that for whatever reason, I've noticed more recently that like with my makeup mirror, whenever I'm getting ready, it tends to not be as maybe brutal as I need it to be with some of the like facial hair spots that I have. So any of the like extra hormonal hair and everything that I don't catch in that, where you like get in the car and you see it in lighting, you're like, oh crap, I didn't catch that before. I catch it in here. So like I can come and stand in front of this and catch everything that I might want to see, all the little spots that like I can't see in the bathroom lighting. The little patch right here that's currently kind of congested and like losing some stuff and purging as I'm like starting retinol. This right here does so much. I'm so impressed with this. If you're a girly who likes to do your makeup in front of a mirror and you have like a mirror in your bedroom, but you feel like you could up the lighting game, this right here, perfect for everything else. It has 3 settings, but like it is the most brutally humbling in the best way possible of everything you want to know before you leave the house, but sometimes you don't want to know. So before we get into the rest of the vlog, I can actually use your help, and this is going to be one of those videos where we've got a lot to do today, and this is part of the conversation. But I feel like we need to have a conversation because as a creator, the way that I consume content isn't necessarily the way that you consume content at home if you've got a 9-to-5 kind of job that you're working in, or if you've just got more of a casual viewing. Like YouTube is a part of your routine and you're watching my content, but like you just watch what you want to watch and you enjoy it and you go about your day. You're who I need because I feel like I have such a inundated mindset about it, and when you're so in it, it's really hard to be able to feel like you have the space to understand and make the choices that you need to make. So I'm asking for help, and I'm asking specifically for the help of those of you who are watching the vlogs because I know that I can't find the primer that I'm looking for. I know that you guys are not just necessarily watching very niche videos, at least with this video. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I've been creating content for 8 or 9 years now, and I've been on YouTube for like 7 or 8 years now. 7. I think I uploaded my first video in 2017. I've changed kind of genres a little bit as I've gotten to know myself a little bit more, and I've really given myself the space to create the kind of content that I want to create. And we're at a point right now where with as many platforms as there are and with as much as there is going on and really wanting to kind of be able to create in this space, I feel like how I'm changing my content, how I'm creating differently has changed, how I want to create has changed, and also this primer, I'm going to talk about this in a second, remind me to come back to that. But like it's all just kind of adapted in a very organic way, but I'm at the point right now where the one struggle or caveat I have with YouTube is that it's the most time consuming with the least flexibility. So, and hear me out when I say that. Because I started on the blog, like I started as a blogger and I still consider myself a blogger, and that's something that I'm working behind the scenes to kind of hire people to help me to make it a little bit easier because I need to take my stress levels down, which means I need to not feel like I need to have as much stuff in my brain. Like I'm really trying to lean into my zone of genius. But because I kind of started there, and the nice thing about having the blog is there's a lot more flexibility in just the things that you create and the ability to kind of utilize them, even with short content that actually exists. YouTube is the one kind of platform at the moment where I feel like because I'm not creating stuff for like a house where I could give you kind of a look back at things, or because it's more in time, real time kind of turnaround stuff, I personally, just based on my genre of content, feel a little bit more like I have less freedom and flexibility, or that I need to be a little bit more mindful and selective about the content that I'm creating for this platform. Because right now, especially when you're like shooting at a certain angle, or if you're talking a little bit longer, you're doing all of these different things, like there might be ways to reuse this and other ways my brain just hasn't gone there. And honestly, I'm at a place right now where, and this has been a big goal for me this week, is I'm doing as much as I can to eliminate kind of the extra spaces where I'm adding more decisions. I'm trying to bring down my decision fatigue, and we can talk about that in a blog post because I very much think I probably have ADHD and haven't been diagnosed with it, but there's a lot of stuff that I've just done naturally, and I think that has helped me over the years to where it's never really been a true problem. But we're at the point now with the way that everything just kind of comes at you a million miles an hour that I'm having to make some strategic decisions to get done all the things that I want to get done without feeling so freaking overwhelmed, and like actually be able to follow through. Because you guys have seen I share a video with you and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna upload next week. I have every intention of giving you another video when I tell you that. Like, I'm not giving you that to be like, oh, I'm not gonna upload, or I'm just lying, like whatever the case may be. Like, I have every intention. But my brain has gotten into the pattern for as long as I've been doing this, that everything either has to be SEO based or it has to be a really kind of targeted niche video, because in general, those are the ones that tend to like grow your content, which is why I'm asking those of you who are actually, you know, chilling here and watching content, what we should do about this kind of situation. Because like I said, we're at the point now where I can only create so much for so many platforms and not lose my freaking mind, which means that we can do a video like today, which I really love. And I'm very much somebody who, when I watch the creators that I watch, which are not really fashion related because I'm very specific about what I love, but like the handful of people that I watch, I know that like I'll click on a video and it'll be one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, this was like 5 seconds of this video, or 20 seconds maybe, because it's a vlog. And that was just, it's one of those videos where it may be somebody who, it's their vlog channel and there's a topic that you would love for them to talk a little bit more about because you want to engage with them and kind of connect with them, and it feels like something that you've experienced. And I feel like content in general can kind of help us like process some of the things that we've experienced, maybe without even realizing it. Like that's what art does for me. But I found that like there's those videos where I'm like, oh, I really wish that they had like chatted about that longer. Like I felt almost deceived that it was like 10 seconds in, but that was the title of the video. And a lot of times these people are like pushing out a lot of content really consistently, and like if you drop something in the comments, they're probably going to go back and do like a longer kind of chattier video later. But then there's also the creators that I follow who have like very specific niche in this kind of conversation. The French Chateau kids, all of the ones that I follow that have that, whether or not it's like Chateau Diaries and they've got, you know, the chateau of all of the people, you know, there's different things where we all have different like parts of that we really love. And I tend to try to remember that like even if the thumbnail or the title says a certain thing, like I'm gonna like, it's probably actually not as niche down. That's probably 5 minutes of the video and I'm actually gonna like the whole video, but sometimes the title itself isn't the thing that would want to get me to click it. It's like all of the other things because I like the person and would want to watch their content. But we're really rambling, and what I'm trying to get to is that like I'm at the point right now where I want to upload these other videos for you. I want to be more consistent because not every week is going to be a project. Not every week is going to be me doing lots of shopping for a certain thing. If I'm like realistic about it, with the amount of stuff that I'm getting gifted is not a ton right now. It's kind of on the less factor. So it's either the time consumption of me going out and doing all of the in-person shopping, which may inevitably lead to just a lot of flops in a row. Not necessarily flops in content, but like I might go try, you know, a bunch of brands at one store and it just ends up being that we tried 10 brands in a row that suck. And like, I don't want to give you guys content where I'm not actually solving or entertaining or making your life better. Like, yes, we can have those moments that are chatty and you're really just a part of my life. And I feel like those are important because a lot of times seeing people go through their struggles is what helps you feel prepared to go through them when they come across your way. And it's nice of a reference point, but like we just like to connect to the humans that we care about in our lives. So it's not necessarily that, but I do feel like we're gonna have to have some vlogs kind of like this. We're gonna have to have some vlogs where I have a mini J.Crew haul to show you. I want to talk about some bras that I've tried. It's a lot of like, it's not worth and it doesn't warrant a long video, but making this short content version of it is weird because I only have a minute for shorts. So if I make it, then I'm making it for either, you know, another platform, which I want to talk about in a second, or, you know, we're just kind of bundling it all together and having a vlog like we're having today, which is me chatting to you about all of the different things, stuff that I'm trying to style with. We're just friends who love fashion, who are having a little chatty moment. And that I think is what we're gonna get to today. My makeup looks so good so far. So in saying all of that, to actually give you a question, my question is kind of twofold. Number one, are we okay with that kind of vibe? Oh goodness, I forgot that we're using this contour powder and it needs to be lighter. Are we okay with that? Because I think that's kind of what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to adapt, and I will do my best to give you the most accurate kind of title. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get behind you so I can actually see where I'm putting this very potent powder. are we good with that? And then my second, really the other question that I had is, are you guys watching shorts? Do you sit here and watch shorts? Because I might watch a short for a creator I already follow, but like my mental capacity for extra short content is too much. Now, in saying that, I don't mind uploading because like the little outfit videos, I think I'm going to keep doing that. We're doing 30 days of fall outfits right now, and I will be popping another one of those up later today, which will go up before this vlog, and I'll show you guys some of the stuff that's in it. But like, it feels like too much for me, and it almost feels, I don't want to say redundant, but it's just like, I don't necessarily always have enough stuff for a big haul, and I normally want to show it to you before then, because by the time I collect enough stuff for a haul, the chances are that things are probably already sold out. So it's easier almost to do like an every other week vlog like this, where you're actually getting to see it and we can kind of talk a little bit more about it and maybe give you even more ideas of ways to style these pieces, which is what we're going to chat about today. Otherwise, we run into the, I'm only one woman, I only have so much time, and I want to get you guys what you need the most in the way that you need it, in a time frame that's actually useful to you, and not like a million years later when it's sold out, or when you could have gotten it on sale, or like 100 other million things that kind of go along those vibes. So like, are we okay with that? That's the first question. Do we watch shorts? Are we okay with these kind of in-between vlogs? Because I know that you guys are going to want to know more in depth about certain brands. I know that that's really kind of helpful. And to some degree, I like to do those honestly on the vlog a little bit more than I like to do them here, because what happens is I can continue to update them as things change. I can continue to give you more information about a certain bit, or I can go in and answer another question if maybe it comes up, and I can, if they expand on the range, I can expand on that, and like I can maximize my time, but I can also make sure that you guys always have like a consistent point, and it's honestly even more helpful for the people who need to find my content in this space. I am going to show you this lip combo in a second that has changed my life, but like contouring my lips with this guy really makes all of the difference. Katie Jane Hughes posted it in a TikTok video the other day, and it is the most intense like artist sculpt kind of contour, but it just really elevates things. The other thing I've been doing with this is actually using it to kind of lift my eye, which we're gonna do once I figure out where I just stuck that brush. But so, do we like shorts? Do we watch shorts? And then the other thing for that is, I have a series that I do on TikTok, and I have a few series that I do on TikTok, and if you don't create content, you might not know this, but every platform has a different time limit for how long the videos can be, which puts me in this weird kind of juggling act sometimes. So like, as far as Instagram goes, reels can be 90 seconds and they get pushed to the Instagram reel feed. Anything that's longer than that, they still consider like a reel, but it doesn't necessarily get pushed to the same feed. So it's a different kind of challenge. Versus TikTok, of course, is trying to compete its own way with YouTube. So the videos there are a little bit longer. You can upload up to 10 minutes, but I don't want to give you all of that over there. I'd rather it be over here. It's a lot easier to be more conducive, and I feel like the attention span is geared to be longer here. Like, you might be watching me on your TV right now, so tag me on Instagram stories. It feels so weird when you see yourself on somebody else's TV, but hello, I love you. Hi. There are those other bits of content that kind of fit in where I feel like I want them to be a little bit longer. They work really well on other short platforms. I think they would benefit you guys, and the problem is if I cut them down to fit the shorts algorithm, you're not actually gonna get what you need from it. Like, you kind of almost need the full bit, and if I chop it out, it's just not gonna be exactly what you need or signed up for or the most beneficial. So my thought is, and I've trialed this a little bit and I will probably trial it a little bit more, is to put them on my regular feed for you guys to watch, because I also know that a lot of us just are overwhelmed by having so many social media platforms. I have plenty of friends who don't have TikTok, and I am in my 30s, so you know, there's that mix of the humans who love it and really enjoy it and find it super helpful and fun, and then I have my friends who are just like, if you text them the link, or I have one friend who doesn't have it, so she watches it on Reels, or I will save the video specifically to send to her because I want her to see it and I think it's funny. So I don't mind that, but like I honestly, I know that it's a lot to keep up with, and if you're somebody who has 3 or 4 people that you really like to watch and you can't get all of the content or you don't have all the time in the world, like I'm exhausted creating it. I imagine that you guys are exhausted trying to keep up with it. I'm exhausted with trying to keep up with creating it is really where I'm exhausted. So do you guys want that content on the feed? Do you want me to take those pieces that maybe could have potentially been in a meshed in vlog right here, but they're not long enough for a blog post, they're not long enough for a full video, you guys don't necessarily want to be on 17 platforms. Does it work okay for you guys if I put them in like a mini video and we just title it that way within the feed? So you're still getting the stuff that's useful in the big sense and the little sense, and then in the you get to have like a bookmark version of it on the blog kind of a way. Does all of that make sense? Have I absolutely overwhelmed you? Let me know in the comments below. I feel like if you come to me and you say, Savannah, I really am so overwhelmed by all of these platforms that I really would just rather get all of your stuff on one platform and then maybe have the blog, or I would really like a way to just know when you've posted without having to go onto all of these other platforms. If that's you, the newsletter is really great. I am working on hiring a blog manager hopefully this week because decision fatigue is so real. But does that make sense? Like if you guys have a preference for where you like to get your content, if you've got one platform that you like, if you say, you know, I would absolutely love it if you could put it all in this one space because that would make my life easier, please, that like I am happy to do so, but it's easier for me to know that I'm on the right path if you guys can be the yes instead of me going in the like tarot card app and be like, should I do this, yes or no, and then waiting. Like I like a quick answer if we can get one. Okay, let's talk about some makeup things before we get into the rest of today's blog post. Now I am somebody who gets easily influenced, and occasionally I do get a press package for something, so like the It Cosmetics one, I've gotten that, but I have gone through the rainbow of all of the different foundations that everyone and their sister has tried over the past few years. So we've had the House Labs, I had the Makeup by Mario, I bought the Valentino one because I was hoping that this would be just a little bit of a lighter option. I'm not sure what I was hoping for here. And then I bought the Lancome one in the Ulta sale because honestly, the 21 Days of Ulta is where it's at. Sephora tends to actually kind of copy them if you go and look. So if you have a preference for points there, but like getting this at 50% off, it's what I use today. I really like it. I shared that It Cosmetics one with you guys. That's more full coverage than I would prefer, but I bought the Huda Beauty, the new primer, to go under the It Cosmetics one. And part of the reason I did that is I find that whether or not I like any of these foundations, and I went back and forth between like I hated this one for a while and I really loved this one, and then I didn't really like that and I went back to that one, and a lot of it actually has to do more with my skin prep than anything, the level of dewiness underneath. So if I find that a foundation is looking kind of dry on my skin, I really try to go in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Hydrating Primer because that has such an impact for me, as well as actually making sure that there's not a large gap between when I put my skincare on and when I do my makeup. If I wait too long, I find that that really kind of alters how my skin looks when I put the product on because the foundation and the moisture levels have changed between the two. So loving this guy though for the days, especially with the It Cosmetics one, where because it is so dewy and hydrating, I don't need that, but I do need something that kind of smooths out the pores, and this has been doing me justice for the last few days. Like we went for a full 4-mile walk, went to brunch, did all the things, had a long day outside, went through the whole day, and I had a little bit like missing there because I blow my nose a lot, but like my makeup was still perfect at the end of the day, and I live in Florida and it is humid. So she is fantastic if you're wanting something and you're not like too oily or too dry. Maybe you're kind of normal in the middle, or you feel like a lot of that changes for you. Honestly, this has been a beautiful addition. I have some clothes to talk about today, but I want to talk about shoes before we talk about clothes because I ordered these off of Amazon and they are not ready to be worn yet because I need to fully style them. But I don't really love the Adidas Gazelles. They are just a bit too casual for me. I like a little bit more glam in my styling, and something about them wasn't giving me the vibe. These of course don't look any more glam or any more exciting, but there's a video that I saw where she did quite a bit of just like little additional things that she added. She changed up the strings, she added like little cherry bits. So These are actually super cute, and if you want something that is maybe a third of the price of the Adidas ones, I will link these down below, but we will come back for those whenever I actually get to style them, because I'm really excited about them and they're very cute. But I know that like as this kind of shoe, I would not wear this. Like this is not anything that I necessarily need. I do need to have something of the sort occasionally, because we're hitting the time of the year where my nephew's gonna be like, can we go do a corn maze? Can we go do this haunted house? I freaking hate haunted houses. Can we do all of these things where I need something that I can walk in and I don't necessarily want to wear my running shoes or my athletic shoes, and I need to be comfortable, but I also, fashion is a lifestyle, so something like that's good for those days where I need something that lets me be maybe lower to the ground or navigating some really weird terrain. I have a wedding next month and I'm honestly considering wearing cowboy boots because it's like a barn house wedding. And I know that the yard has lots of roots and that I will either spend my time tripping or spend my time digging my heels out. So that's a TBD on that. But I think I showed you guys at the beginning of this vlog, because, or like a week after I filmed the original, I got in my boot fitters for the taller boots. And what I realized is that for most of the shoes that we stuck in here where you guys are chilling, it was actually too big. Like they're just too tall. Now I don't think these are gonna work for some of them, but I wanted to see if maybe they would work for something like this, because the problem with where I decided to stick all of these shoes is that, as we noticed when I did them, they're really kind of at height capacity. So there's not a lot of space for me to be able to have anything above to give any kind of shaping. Like we just kind of gotta work with what we got, and if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. But it's like there's not any extra height in here. So for the purpose of this, it won't work. This won't work like this. And that's fine. I think maybe if anything, this will help me store them when it comes to post-fall situation, when I'm not reaching for them and wearing them all of the time. At least my longer boots that aren't gonna go in here and are falling over because they're really sloppy will work with these. But like the height issue is there's not enough extra height to accommodate the boot fitters in the place that I currently have. Now I did place a J.Crew order, and I've already styled these guys on my shorts feed in like day one of 30 days of fall outfits, and I was honestly really kind of shocked. We talked about longer pants and finding just more fitted pants, especially as a pear-shaped girly and always dealing with the gap. I haven't gotten a scale in months, and my sizing has very much dramatically changed this year as I really just let myself listen to my body. Some of the weight that I had gained from not listening to my body has fallen off. So I wasn't 100% sure how this is all gonna fit. I was just kind of hoping for the best, and pretty much everything fit, which feels like a miracle in J.Crew land. So I got these in a size 12, and they are actually a little bit stretchy. They're really comfortable. They didn't fit uncomfortably. I wore these to an event the other night where I was pretty much going to sit and eat and drink for hours, and it was so comfortable. I love that these aren't too heavy, because it doesn't serve me at the moment to have a lot of clothing that is a bit heavier when it comes to fall and winter, because I'm just not going to utilize it. So if I can get the fall kind of vibes without having like the heaviness and the extra weight, or it's a flexible enough that when I'm traveling I can kind of wear other layers and make it kind of work, this is a great piece for that. So these are really comfortable, and I don't know if they come in more than one color, but I would highly recommend them so far. The other three things that I got is I really just am determined to not be frumpy this fall and to find stuff that gives me those fall vibes without being super hot. So we got this little mini skirt. She is a little bit big in the waist, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to kind of tuck her in. It's definitely time for me to find a tailor that really works with me. I need to figure out a good system for being able to make this tighter around my waist when I need it to be tighter, but also have the space to loosen it to get it over my hips. But I really just like this color. I feel like this is going to be so fun. So this is on the list to style, and if you want to know how to style this, this is going to be on shorts in the next week or so. But I also ordered what I thought was going to be a longer version of it, and I've already, you can see I've kind of already pinched it up a little bit, because this fits a little bit differently than I thought it would. However, I saw a tutorial the other day of somebody who kind of went in with safety pins and switched up their skirt to make it a little bit higher and really kind of give that mini skirtness, but also because they were adjusting it, they kind of keep the length of the back to cover it up. So the way this was already fitting was giving a little bit of that. So I went in with my Stitchy, this little guy, probably later this week, so it'll be on shorts for you guys. But I went in with this because it is such a light way to kind of cinch it without it being so holey, and it's not gonna like destroy the skirt for other ways that I would want to wear it. So this can be a little bit gimmicky. Sometimes she's not my favorite, but for something like this, I think it's holding really well right now. I think you just have to be mindful about it telling you too much. But if you want to expand your wardrobe with what you already have, being able to kind of easily maneuver things with stuff like this is really helpful. And then the last two things of my haul is I got this little cropped white top, and this might be one of those things where you're like, Savannah, I'm so over crops. Like, why are we still cropping everything? I actually don't think I have a long white shirt which would serve me, but the nice thing about having the crop version of this, and it's something that I've styled with the corset dress, it's like a long white version of this, is that you don't have the extra fabric that you're fighting if you want to layer this underneath something. Or what I'm thinking about doing for a look that I'm going to do maybe today or later this week is I actually want to take some safety pins and kind of maybe go longer and kind of tear them up to cinch this in at the waist, because it's still a little bit wide for the waist, which means I have more flexibility. It means that I can kind of make it do what I want it to do, but I don't have to worry about having to tuck an abundance of fabric into anything to make it work. So it's a really good blank canvas in that way without having a bunch of extra fabric. To be fair, if you had a shirt like this that you liked, or it was like already stained at the bottom and you just wanted to reuse the top, you could totally chop one off and kind of make that work. So this is something I just felt like it gives a lot of potential. Like, it seems like it's not going to do much for you if you're just like throwing it in, because on its own, when you throw it on your body, it doesn't exactly fit. It doesn't give anything. But like what you can do with it, because it is just such a neutral kind of square shaping, means the possibilities are endless, and it really just increases what I can already do with the stuff that I have in my wardrobe, which is why I love pieces like that. And then our last two things of note, and I actually have a third piece that I don't think I've gotten in the mail yet, but I started ordering some little brooches, and I feel like this is just a really fun way to utilize and expand on what you already have in your collection. Maybe you're a little bit bored with some of your blazers, but you don't really need a new blazer. You don't really want a new blazer, but you want to make it more fun. Little brooches like this, or I got one, I saw, there's that episode of Emily in Paris where she's got like a big chunky kind of brooch right here. And I ordered something similar to that vibe. So I'm looking forward to styling that. But one way to add a little bit of excitement to stuff that you already have in your wardrobe without it being too much. And I just feel like this gives me all the little vibes for all the little things. Like, look at the little purse. And of course, Paris. And then if I can find it down below, I bought this very cute little bracelet from one of the shops when we went to the farmer's market the other day. So for my girlies who love dupes, I do have new fall handbags coming. They are on the way. As soon as I get my hands on them, I will show them to you because I am so excited about it. I bought 3 bags that are very good dupes, for like a Row bag, a Bottega bag, and there's one of the other ones. And I tend to be somebody who, unless I'm actually like seeing the label, unless it's like a specific Chanel or I haven't bought a Louis Vuitton yet, but there are certain bags where it just doesn't feel worth it to me to spend, to pay at that level at the moment, because my collection is smaller, and some of the bags that I know that I'm going to use all the time, I'm not going to be able to resell them. So the value at that point doesn't do any good for me, because I'm going to utilize them to the point where they are no longer going to be easily used or easily repairable. I have a few of those. There might be an exception for that. The one that I use all the time that's like a dupe for the Bottega bag, I might actually invest in the proper version and test that theory and see if it's any better. But like, we're at the point where the leather's kind of falling off in the center because she's been utilized so much. I've had her for 5 years and she gets used at least once a week because I love her. So I would almost rather spend money on shoes than handbags, depending on the handbag, depending on the brand, depending on whether or not I'm buying it is also like an investment, because Hermes has kept its value and I think it's actually had a higher return than the stock market for the last like 30 years. Can't remember the exact numbers on that, but there is a point to actually having those bags and buying them and investing in them. So handbags are coming. Shoes, I have my eye on. We will get more into that, but I've asked you guys a lot of questions. I've given you guys a lot of information. So please let me know in the comments below how you feel about all the things that we chatted about at the beginning of the vlog. Let me know what you're most looking forward to wearing and styling this fall. All the links will be in the description box below, and there will be a new video for you guys next Wednesday. That is the goal. All right, I love you. It is a good day to have a good day, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye, guys.